So now only two motions are left, that is 2 degrees of freedom are left, meaning translatory motion of this uh, mm, bolt across this along the axis of the shaft, as well as the rotary motion along that same axis. So to restrict this, you can see that the status is still partially constrained. To restrict this motion and make it fully constrained, go for placement and give the next new constraint, that is the second constraint, to restrict the rotary motion along this shaft. First, what I'm trying to do is I will align this surface f6 of the nut with the surface f6 of the bolt, so that always in this uh, assembly the f6 of nut and f6 of bolt are aligned with each other and there will be no rotary motion. So to do that, I'll change the constraint type to align, select component item f6 of nut, and this next is f6 of bolt. So you can see here that this new constraint has been given, that is align, and the two surfaces has been constrained, and now the rotary motion is restricted. But still we have one more, you can see that the status is partially constrained, that is means that still we have one more, that is the translatory motion of this bolt across this nut. Okay, so to restrict that and make it fully constrained, we will go again for a new constraint, that is in placement, new constraint. I want this bolt on this surface of, I want the inner surface of the bolt on the inner surface of the nut. So to do that, the next constraint that I'm going to give is mate. Okay, so mate, the component is inner surface of the bolt to the inner surface of the nut. So you can see now that both the nut and the bolt is mated, and you now can see the status as fully constrained, meaning there is no relative motion between the two parts, that is the nut and the bolt. So this is how we have completed, or we have successfully completed the assembly of a nut and bolt. Once you tick this, you can see that you have completed, that is the nut and bolt is assembled uh, in this. Now let's say that, let's take a question, a modification on the question, that is the nut is assembled at a height of say 50 mm from the top surface of the bolt. Okay, so to do that, you can redefine this by going to right click on nut and give edit definitions. Okay, now you can see that it is redefined, and go to placement. You can either modify this constraint, that is the mate, the last maced constraint. Okay, so instead of coincide, we will give offset, and we will give the distance, that is it should be offset, that is 50 millimeters. Click on that, you can see that this height has become 50 millimeter, that is from this face to this face, the two objects are offsetted by a distance of 50 millimeters, and give tick mark. Now you can see that the assembly has been made according to the modified question. Okay, now you can see still, if you go to edit references, edit definitions, uh, you can still see that what is that, there is one more way that you can do the same, that let's say that this was entirely different. Okay, so you need to make a new modification that was entirely different, then you go right click on this, you do not need this, but you want to make a new constraint, you right click on this and give disabled. Okay, and go for new constraint. Now when you give disabled, now this translatory motion, that is the motion that was already there, the translatory motion is still existing. You can see here that the nut and bolt is translating. Okay, so the bolt is translating along the nut. So if you want to give a new condition, go for new constraint. It's not coincide, let's say offset by offset, align and offset these two components, that is the inner surface of this. Let's say that in this question the outer surface of this. Okay, it has to be 100, like that or something. A question was saying. So give that value. You can see that now the new constraint has been given and the status has again come back to fully constrained. Okay, so take this and come out. So this way you can modify according to the question that is given to you, the assembly of the two components. Okay, so we have successfully completed the assembly of nut and bolt. Hope if you have any doubts, please contact me in the WhatsApp. Take care. Goodbye, guys.